Hi, I'm Louise Fletcher and welcome to a new series of videos I'm going to be making called The Artist Diary. For a long time, my YouTube channel has been solely focused on education, on teaching what I know, and I'm making a shift in the channel and it's going to be much less about that, and I'm much more interested now in sharing my own journey. Hence, The Artist's Diary. So these videos are going to be whatever I'm up to. You'll see me working in the studio, you'll see me thinking about my art, you might hear about my inspirations, you'll see all sorts of behind the scenes, and you'll also get glimpses into the life I lead here in the north of England and my beautiful dog. So first of all, let me go show you what's happening in the studio, because I've had some new developments that are quite exciting. So I am actually following a few different threads in the studio at the moment, and I'm quite excited about this thread. And what I mean by threads is just things I'm interested in. So I'm really interested in the paint application on this one. Sometimes I get a painting that it's not perfect, it's not the ultimate end goal of what I'm hoping for, but it's exciting and different for me, and it's enough as it is to be just one piece of the puzzle, and that is this painting. And what is really interesting about this is, to me, is the way I layered the paint. It was a lot of very fluid acrylic with water mostly, and then putting the paint on and then removing it again with soft tissues and just leaving like the lightest of stains and then layering up those stains to create these rich colors and these textures, and then leaving some parts thicker than others. And I'm really happy with that as a process, and I'm looking forward to starting 3 paintings. I've got 3 large canvases that I want to work on in this way, because it suits canvas. It's soft, and somehow the softness of the canvas feels right for that process. I would never have worked that way on wood panel. So that's what's happening in my studio. I'm managing to keep my new space fairly tidy, but not brilliantly tidy. So let me just scan round and show you what we're dealing with. So far, this is the table I've been working on the most. And this is on wheels. It's got a shelf underneath so where I can store things. I've been working on 3 pallets at a time to give me more mixing space, and I'd like to actually make it 5. So this bench where my coat is laying on top, this workbench here is mainly being used for filming. You can see the camera stand on there for filming demos. This, I do a lot of my, if I'm doing a podcast, if I'm working, I tend to sit here. My chair's here. I love this table. I got this from an old glass factory, and it was a bargain, and I spent ages sanding it to get it to look like this, but I love that table. And then over here is a table that I was using for drawing and collage. So I was doing some collage work. This is a large collage that I worked on. Some ideas about, I was working on making my marks bolder. Talk about that some other time. The surface of this one is very smooth, whereas these older tables, as you can see, not great for putting a sheet of paper down and drawing on because of the panels. So each table is serving a different purpose. So I'm bringing all my art books in here, and I'll talk about my art books some other time, but I've brought a lot of my books. And over here is my seating corner. The idea of this was that I could get Riley to join me, and he would lie on the sofa while I looked at my art books. I have this, at the moment I'm obsessed with this Cy Twombly book. I don't know if you can see it, but I would sit here and go through my books, and he would lie here, or I would be painting and he would lie here, but he won't come in. So I sit on my sofa by myself. I've bought a hanging system to be able to hang my artwork up there, but at the moment we haven't got that installed, so it's a bit bare at the moment. All of it will come to life over time. A lot of my work as an artist isn't work in the studio. A lot of it is work on myself because I've got to clear a lot of what's in here in order to make honest artwork. And at the start of the week, I had a session with my on again, off again life coach that I've had since 2018, Georgina Noel. There we go.
Hello.
And she helped me to come to some really clear realizations about the way I'm going to take things in the future, and particularly this channel. I think it was Victoria Wood, the original thing. She was like, I'm in my 60s, all of a sudden I'm slimming down, I'm wearing lycra, and I'm like, it's my time, Kenneth. I'm looking after me.
You have weathered many storms over the last few years, and they were painful,
Yeah.
and you've continued to rise.
When you're my age, that's the other thing that happens is you do start thinking, okay, how much time is left? Especially I've lost two friends in the last few years who just died quickly. Like one minute they were fine, the next minute they were told they had cancer and then they were dead. And it makes you realize, like, I want to make the most of whatever time. Maybe I'll be 90 and that'd be brilliant. And maybe I'll be a healthy 90-year-old, but maybe I won't. And I don't want to be suddenly being told I'm ill and think I never did spend any time on my own stuff. I always did the things for other people. So
All
I'm
the things that you're
100%.
sharing with me feel like beautiful things to share in your wider community.
Yeah.
Because these are the things that these women you're talking about who feel invisible, who feel, like they're not seen and all this stuff, they are going to feel seen when you start sharing things like this. Two of my close friends passed away, and it really got me thinking. And so, because of that, I'm investing more time in my artwork. You can follow me here, and just literally just start doing what you do as a manifestor and just start telling people what you're doing. Now is the time to
Yeah.
start telling them.
Informing.
Yeah, inform, because I can feel, and I could be wrong. I mean, it's rare, but I could be. That there's at the moment, it's all feels like this beautiful, like, oh, and it's fun to talk about it, and I'm getting clarity, but like, at what point are you going to go, right? And now I'm going to start sharing from this place. Now I'm going to start sharing about this journey. So I just like inviting it into your awareness that it doesn't
Mm.
need to be this perfect, polished launch, or
Oh,
you don't
good.
have to have, that it could be, you could start introducing these conversations into your newsletter, into your social media, into your communities. You could start introducing them now. So how do you feel about starting to share these conversations with people?
Yeah, I've had an idea.
Excellent. Tell me.
My YouTube video editor is waiting for new stuff from me. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to make another how to make drips with acrylic paint video. So I could just tell her, you know what, I'm making a shift in the channel. I'm doing the channel can be more just my life, my chatting, my showing you what I'm doing, my talking about my influences or whatever. I'm looking at a Cy Twombly book today. Here it is. This is what I'm thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why you're here.
It is. Well,
So that's an easy
glad
shift.
it serves some purpose.
It's funny watching that back now, just a few days later, because I've already made the shift in my head. But there is the genesis for why this is moving. And moving the channel in this direction also moves my focus and ensures that I am focused on my creative development. Should I get you some food? What's this? There we go. Riley. Then, no. Chicken food, not Riley food. Greedy guts. You eating the chicken's food? Honestly. Right, Riley. You come in. Come on then. I spent some time this week making a demo for my Find Your Joy course. We're in week 3 at the time of recording this, and I'm now filming demos for further down the line. I redid the whole course this year, which meant redoing every video, every demonstration. And this is a week about mark making, and the exercise gives limited tools, limited options, and then you're to find as many ways of making marks as possible. And after I'd done my demo with limited tools, I gave myself an opportunity to keep working on them and just use anything I wanted. So here I brought in a trowel, which wasn't one of my original limited tools. I'm really interested at the moment in my works on paper, just in really freeing up and in making things that are not considered beautiful by traditional standards of beauty. And I think I'm interested in that because I've spent so much of my painting life focusing on beauty, and I don't necessarily think that's where my interests lie anymore. It felt that there was a real push and pull going on between dark and light, or desaturated greys and blacks, and then saturated colour. And I think that push and pull is going on in my actual paintings as well, or the paintings on canvas and wood, I should say. I'll make another video about pink because pink is surprisingly sticking around for me, and I've been working with it for quite a while, and it shows no sign of going away, even though I keep trying something different. This is where those ended up. At least at the end of that day, I might do more. This last one, this one is my favorite, probably just because it gets more of a balance between the greys and the color. So the most amazing thing happened that I wanted to share with you. I got to interview another artist on Saturday night, C.S. McIntyre, Californian painter, amazing artworks. I just love the simplicity, the clarity. He just gets right to the point. I feel like that's what I'd like to be one day when I grow up. And we had this wonderful conversation. We just really hit it off. He's so inspiring and also really honest, which I think is inspiring. And so we talked about all sorts. We talked about inspiration. We talked about self-doubt. We talked about process. We talked about what art means to us and why we paint. It was really amazing. And then we switched the recording off, and then we put the world to rights, and turns out we think the same about everything too, so that was great. We just had a really wonderful chat. It was probably on there for about an hour and 40 minutes in the end, and I didn't want to stop talking, but I did have to do other things. Anyway, I get up this morning and I look at my Instagram, and he has made a painting about our conversation. Mind blown, like so amazing and such an honor. And this is the painting, and it's called Q&A. And I love that. For me anyway, it captures like the depth of our conversation, which is for me that darker part at the bottom. The pink is like the softness and warmth and honesty that we shared, and the scribbly orange is to me like the fire that was sparking between us, because when artists talk to one another, they spark off each other, don't they? And we were definitely doing that. So such an honor. I don't think anything like this has happened to me before. It's just really exciting. So I wanted to share that with you in this week's diary. This week had been going too well because I've just
was moving some panels around in the studio, and I dropped the biggest, biggest one right on my big toe. And so I've come back, I've managed to get up to the house. God knows how I managed to get up to the house because I couldn't hardly move. I screamed so loud, but luckily I live in the middle of nowhere and no one could hear. Or not so luckily, because it would have been nice to have some help. But anyway, that's what it's like when you live alone. So I've got back up to the house. I've got ice on my foot. Just when the week was going amazingly well. But you can't have everything. So I guess that's me done for the night now.
So about 8:10, a few hours after that happened, and I can move my toe. It's a bit sore, but it's not as bad as it could have been. I think that it'll be bruised and probably swell up tomorrow, but it's all fine. I live to fight another day. I'm rereading this book at the moment, How to Be an Artist by Jerry Saltz. You want to go out, darling? I think my dog wants to go out. Gonna go for a wee? Okay. Hold on, I'll be back. Bit of a grey and drizzly day, Riley. Going for a wee? Yeah, good boy. Off he goes. Little boy. Okay, I'm back. So I'm reading How to Be an Artist by Jerry Saltz. And that exercise that I was doing, the mark making exercise, it perfectly fits with chapter 34, being consistent. Variety, flexibility, experimentation, diversity, all of these are essential in your work. This doesn't mean that every new thing you make should be totally different from what you've done before. That's a sign that you're scared, lazy, or some kind of performative blowhard. Careful, men. The real value, he said that, not me. The real value of inconsistency is that it can bring about what Milan Kundera called sudden densities, moments when something appears in your work that gives you an opening, some oddity or mutation that sets you off in a new direction. That really made me think about the paint application on that painting I showed you. That was an accident, and as a result of an accident where I put some paint onto the canvas initially that was too wet, and then I mopped at it to get stop the drips from just going crazy, and I got this kind of stain on the canvas, and then I was like, oh, I like that, let me do more. That was apparently a sudden density. Variability allows your work to breathe. It helps you to steer clear of tyrannies and find charm in the unfamiliar. Try whatever you want to try, different sizes, tools, materials, subjects, anything. You're not making product. And that exercise, the exercises that I set when I'm teaching, I realize how much they help me, because it forces me to continually be thinking of different ways that we could approach our artwork, and therefore be kind of doing that myself, especially when I have to record the demos. But each of the exercises that I create ends up becoming a part of my studio practice. It becomes really important to me because it's introducing that variability, that surprise. And the only way we get that, I guess, is from the amount of time we dedicate to our practice in the studio. And that's why it's so important to me to make this shift, a lot more focus on my own creativity and a lot less energy dispersed in helping people I don't know. And that's not to say it hasn't been worthwhile to help other people, because it has. It's brought me a lot of joy. It's brought me a lot of satisfaction. It's brought me income. It's not to say that any of that isn't worthwhile, but I do feel that the balance has gone too much, if I'm honest, in the direction of helping other people. And I also think we can tell ourselves, well, I'm just such a nice person, I just want to help other people. It's not that, is it? We get something out of it. I, for a lot of my life, felt like my value as a woman came from how much I helped, supported, nurtured other people. We're taught that, aren't we? It's very convenient, actually, that society teaches us that, isn't it? Because it gives a whole 50% of the population whose job it is to just nurture and care for other people. So I think letting go of a lot of that is the next important step in my life, maybe in yours, I don't know, certainly in mine. And it's going to be an interesting transition because we're very conditioned, aren't we? Don't know how I got onto that because I was talking about variety. So I think it's going to be important for me to keep up on that cork wall that I was working. That's a wall in my studio that's just cork and I can pin paper or canvas to it. And I think I need to have constantly on that wall free, loose exercises happening where I am creating variety, creating conditions to generate something new. And on my painting wall, I have the works that I'm currently working on, but over there I can have like my playground. I think that's going to be really important. Just today's reflections. Okay, this is a sign of me being too independent and bloody minded to let somebody help me. I just had the nicest delivery driver bring these canvases. He brought the canvases round from the front door where he parked round to the back door for me. And I could have said, would you mind taking them down to that studio building? But I didn't. I decided I could bring them myself, which normally I could. But at the moment, because of my toe, the only thing I can put on my feet is wellies. And I've got these barrel-shaped pants. And all I can wear is my wellies, so I look like old Farmer Giles. Anyway, I've hobbled down here with my canvases. I've decided to use these ones for to test out this new way of painting, because these, I bought 3 because they're the perfect size for over my fireplace. I don't have a painting over the fireplace. I want something of my own. I want something that's the right size. I don't have anything. I don't normally paint for myself, but that's what I'm doing. And then I thought I'd get 3 and then just play on them so that they're really playful and there's different options and we can just see what happens. So I'll get some scissors out and I'll open these up. So I've bought 3 this size. So it's 4 feet wide, but it's 2 feet high. So I'll just work on all 3 together. I'll clear off space on the wall, avoid dropping anything else on my toe. And I'm just going to do some early layers on here.
I don't know where you came from, but this road is yours to trail, made to mold into a song that's sung before your day. So you found the beat, the melody, the words to lift your soul. You were made with love. You were made with love. You were made with love for this world. Silence speaks under our feet. The roots signal across the land. Oh, these cosmic plans vibrate, sending souls for helping hands. So you sow the seed and let it breathe until it found its roots. You were made with love. You were made with love. You were made with love for this world. Sometimes the world will move you, push, pull, there ain't no choosing. You were born through the lights of return.
I want to keep these early layers quite light because I want to be able to bring more in. Part of this, the way this is going to work, is through the depth of the layering, simply because I want to be able to sand as well, and I need something to sand through.
Your home is the heart, all is well. You are made with love. You are made with love. You are made with love for this world. You are made with love. You are made with love. You are made with love for this world. You are made with love for this world. You are made with love for this world.
It's quite exciting to have your work kind of show you something new, even after all this time. It's not like it's revolutionary, right? It's not like I'm the first person to do this kind of thing, but it's revolutionary to me. I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, well, it's time to go walk the dog. All right, thank you for watching. Autumn is just beginning. The first leaves are just beginning to turn. Do we need to go see if you've got your food? Hey? Hey? We've got to hobble, Sooty. Come on.